Hey guys, Earl with Sumo Bully Kennels with another episode of Breeders. Today I have a special guest, the Bully Queen of Brazil, Miss Aurea with Samba Kennels. By the way,
Thank
she
you.
took the world by storm with an import from Brazil, Mr. Klaus. I love that boy, amazing, and just came in here hot and just put everybody on notice. So without further ado, I'll let you speak.
Thank you so much, Earl. It's a great pleasure to be here speaking with you for the first time on your YouTube channel, which is amazing. The idea is great. And I'm very pleased to be one of your first interviewees. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Um, and thank you so much for the presentation. I think you're exaggerating, but
No, I'm not.
but like I said, it's a very nice opportunity for us to get to know a little bit better about my work, and your project is amazing. So I'm here to support you. Thank you so much again for
Well,
inviting me.
oh, thank you for coming on. Thank you for the kind words. Before process of looking at dogs, puppies, getting our program started, it's very intimidating, especially when you're a startup and you don't know anybody, you don't know how the industry works, you don't know the proper etiquette. And so my wife was casually browsing and saw Klaus on a video, and she totally went crazy over Klaus. And I was like, okay. She's like, babe, you got to reach out to them. And honestly, we thought you were in Brazil, because of everything. I was like, oh, they're in Brazil, babe. I don't know how we're going to be able to do this. She's like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I want to see this dog. I want to get a puppy for this dog. And
That's right.
yeah, I messaged you, and thankfully you're in the US, which made things so much easier. And
That's true.
here we are today.
Yes, that was great. That was very curious the way you said that you thought I was in Brazil and you guys really wanted to connect. And the fact that I'm here, I think made everything easier and possible for the next steps, right?
Oh, big time. It was we were so pleased to hear that you were here, and we saw the breeding that you had put together with Klaus and Lily. And of course we're new, so we're looking at Pitpedia, looking at the bloodlines and stuff, and like just seeing this amazing male, and then your pairing, uh Whopper's litter mate of Zion. Wow. I was so
Yes.
geeking out over this litter. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's actually here, and we can, within the US, and we don't have to do any crazy travels or, any kind of um, extra added expenses of trying to see you and connect with you. So
That's
that was a
right.
blessing. That was a very, very big
Absolutely.
blessing. So, okay,
Absolutely.
that was our introduction to you. And we were so intimidated to reach out to you, by the way. You have this,
Why?
well, you had this beautiful dog, and like looking at your stuff, and it's kind of like um, when you're new to something and you don't understand the industry, and it's like, is this person going to take me seriously? Is this person going to respond to me?
Hmm.
Because when we were first shopping around and trying to connect with people, uh, it's very intimidating because you don't know what it is, right?
For
And
real. Yes, I understand you. I've been there.
somebody can somebody can respond to you and totally, make you not feel good about yourself, and like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I was just a fan of your work, kind of deal. So yeah, it's very scary for me in the beginning.
I understand, and
Thankfully,
I know there are people like that, I don't know if that happened to you when you were in the process of searching, but I did went through that a lot.
oh, absolutely. Sometimes people don't respond. Sometimes people respond to you. Um, they don't give you much attention. which again, I don't know the etiquette. So for me, it's like, okay, I understand. Like I'm a new person, no one knows me. I'm no one in the industry. I don't go to shows. I haven't bred anything. And so, I was expecting, I didn't know what I was expecting, but we're certainly very intimidated to reach out to you. And we were
No way.
pleasantly surprised. You were
Thank
so
you.
warm and welcoming and just a genuine, sweet person. And you were so excited to speak with us that it was very refreshing.
Thank you so much. Yes, this is what this is all about. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business, and I'm open to the fact that my customers is a continuation of my work, especially because you reached out to me um, because you wanted to buy a puppy from me. And doesn't mean that even if you were reaching out to me to ask for some type of advice or just to connect for some other reason, I would treat you differently because this is who I am. That's in my essence. I listen to everybody. I try to respond to everybody. Sometimes I fail because I got a lot of messages, but of course I was in the moment that I was so deeply involved with those puppies, and you came. I deeply analyze. Also, I'm very polite and I'm very experienced, which I also analyze the profile of each one reaching out to me as a prospective customer, in the sense that I want to make sure that these puppies are going to be a continuation of my work with good families, with good homes, that they're suitable people. But of course, the accessibility is it has to be always, because this is a business at the end of the day. Like I said, you have to be um, cordial and also listen to people, because like I said, I treat everybody the same way, but sometimes people come across with different intentions, and I also felt from you guys the genuinity of this of your purpose towards my puppies. So we
Well,
just
we're,
connected and the energy was there.
well, we were a big fan of what you're doing, big fan of your program, and
Thank you.
every time we talk or text or communicate, I learned something new.
Oh, that's
It,
great. That's it. That's what it's all about, you know. Because I learn things from you already. I learn things every day. It is always a learning, an exchange. Can you can you cut? I have to put Berlin out because he's barking.
no,
This
that's
is
fine.
gonna. Can you listen? Can you hear it?
Oh yeah, I can
That
hear you.
he's Yeah. No, can you hear him barking?
No,
No, I
no.
hear him.
Oh,
Just let
there you
me
go.
put him out. Just let me
Okay,
put
no
him
problem.
out. Then he's gonna start. Okay, just a second.
hmm So, anyways, while she walks away, um, we are on our journey of searching for dogs. My
Oh,
wife found Klaus, uh, very impressed by him and what she's doing, the pairing, the pedigree, just everything, the substance behind what she was putting together. And, I'm not sure if some of you listeners understand who Lily is,
I'm
but
back.
oh, hey, there she goes. So I was talking while you were
Sorry
away.
about that.
No, no worries.
He had to go to the bathroom and he starts barking. He won't stop until I let him out.
That's okay. That's what they do. We're dog people.
For sure.
Okay, now that we got past the pleasantries, okay. Um, how did you get into the American bully industry? Tell us more about
It's
yourself and where you come from.
Well, I've been breeding Dogos Argentinos. I'm from Brazil. I was born and raised in Brazil, and I've been breeding Dogos for almost 18 years now, I think.
That's
And
amazing.
yes, it's a long time. And I did very well in Dogos. We have a good reputation in Dogos because of the program that we created, me and my partners, and we I started traveling. I started my career solo. I had my own kennel, and then I partnered up with Verdes Pampas, which is one of the biggest names in the world for Dogo Argentino. But I've always bred his bloodline, so I know that bloodline very well. And
Now, for
so,
clarity, right? That
pardon
bloodline
me?
is that for clarity, that bloodline is that a working class or show class bloodline?
Both.
Oh wow.
Yes, we have many hunters because where my partner lives in the south of Brazil, he has a great gene pool around him because he keeps a lot of dogs. And when he wants to keep dogs around without selling them, he just gives them to hunters. And
Hmm.
they do really well. They do really well. And also, my partner never really focused in showing, but all of his clients, we're talking 25 years ago, 20 years ago, he exported a lot of dogs to Europe and Asia and South America, and they all show, some of them show their dogs and they all became champions. And then I started working with him 10 years ago, actually 2010. So 13 years ago, I
13
started
years.
working.
Wow.
13 years.
Uh,
The first dogo that I got from him was 13 years ago. I didn't have the money. I met him in 2007, and it took four years for me, or 3 years for me to put the money together to buy a dog from him. And it was very funny. That's how I started, because the first dogo I've ever seen in my life was a Verdes Pampas in a magazine. There was like not such thing as Instagram and stuff like that. And I fell in love with that dogo, and I said, that's the dogo that I want. And then eventually I found out what bloodline that dog was. And I put some money together to buy a first Verdes Pampas dogo, which was Manchai. That's the one that's over there.
mm-hmm.
And so I bought Manchai in 2010. And in 2013, I saw, and he was just my pet. In the beginning, when I bought him, I said, man, this dog is a little weird. I don't think he's very good. And I talked to him and he said, Aurea, just take it easy. Dogos, especially our bloodline, it's very, it's very late grower dogs. They develop later, and just give him time, let him exercise, because he looked a little cowhawked. His temperament looked really down, like, always with the head down. I said, this dog is not a Verdes Pampas. It's not what I was expecting. All of a sudden, when he was like 2.5 years old, I looked at him in the yard of my company, where we had a trucking company in Brazil. And I looked at him and I said, damn, he looks good. Just popped out like that from one day to the other. So I hired a handler. He showed the dog, and he lost the 3 rings the first day. But he told me, he said, he said he just lost because he's skinny, he's out of shape. He was always outside. In Brazil, most dogs stay outside. It's the culture because of the weather that's really good. And he said, leave him with me. I'm going to train him and I'm going to put him in shape, because I didn't want to let him go. But he said he has to live with me in order to get to the shape that a show requires, the coat, the weight, the training. So I left him with him for like a month. And the second show, he beat 2 rings. Out of the 3, he lost 1. And the second and the third, he beat the number 1 dogo in the country.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there. So, man, what a beautiful story, right? My thing is, you saved up money for that long to buy a dog, right? You bought a dog and you weren't even making money with this dog, correct?
No, he was my pet. It was just I had other dogs that I was breeding, but I didn't buy him for breeding purposes. I wanted to breed him eventually, but I just wanted to have a Verdes Pampas in my yard.
Okay, so when you bought him, your intention, um, you really didn't have like a business plan for him, just more like you just wanted this blood, right?
Yeah, because at that time when I bought him, I wasn't breeding as much as I was the last 2 years when I started because I was so involved with the business that we were running. And me and my ex-husband in Brazil, we were running a business, and I was full-time managing, and I didn't have that much time for breeding as I had in 2005, 2006. We're talking around 5 years before that is when I started breeding. So I just had him as a pet, as a guard dog. But the
Got
day
it.
that I took him to shows, when I saw that he had potential, I took him to shows and he started winning. And the shows in Brazil have a year campaign. We have the rank of the best doggos in Brazil, the best dogs in any breed, that goes from January to December. This dog that was #1 in Brazil, he was in campaign already he had been in campaign for already 9 months because I started showing Manchai in September.
I got it. Okay.
In October, he did like 4 shows. In those 4 shows, he was already #1 in the country because he won not only the best of breed, he won multiple best in show competitions. Yes, we won. We have placements in best in shows there, so you can get the 4 best in shows. You can get #1, #2, #3, #4 best in shows. So he was winning groups, then he was going to best in shows. He was winning best in shows, third, fourth place best in show. And when you have let's say you have an exhibition that has 500 dogs, every dog that you beat sums up the points. So if you are third best in show in a show that has 500 dogs, that means that you made 497 points for
Oh,
for the
wow.
rank. Yes. So he not
Very
only
nice.
he became the best dog in the country in only like a month and a half of campaign. And he really
Wow.
stood out and he surprised us all, but that's because I saw that potential and I took him out there. And the next thing I know, in 2014, he won the best specialty show, which is the most important show for a breed, is when you win the specialties. The specialty is when a judge that is a breeder for more than 10 years judges the breed, one breed. We have many specialty shows. Usually they have only that breed, and that's why it's called specialty. And also the judge has to be a long-time breeder. And that's for me the most important show of any breed is when you have a specialty show. And Manchai won the best show, the best specialty show dog in the breed in 2014. And when he won that, I had people all over the world wanting to buy puppies from him. So I had to do, the breedings.
Breeding.
And after I did some
Well,
breedings,
let me equate this. So the specialty show would be in contrast comparable to like a Super Bowl, right?
exactly, that's the Super Bowl of each breed in Brazil. And in the world,
Okay.
in FCI, you have specialty shows all the time. Even here in AKC, they have, it's almost like the nationals. It's compared
Okay.
to the nationals, okay, for each breed. And
Well, pardon my ignorance. I just don't know. That's why I'm asking. So,
no, absolutely. And a lot of people that are watching, I'm sure don't know, and this is information. It's good to share this kind of information.
so a specialty show is it, huh? That's the Super Bowl. That's the creme de la creme, right?
That's it. That's when you win, that's when you have the most number of specimen and also the most the best dogs in the country participating. And to make a
Wow.
specialty, you have to have at least 15 dogs. In that specialty that he won, I think we had 35 dogs, and most of them were champions.
And I'll make that connection, right? So, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? I buy a male puppy, right? Doesn't matter the breed, let's just say. However, we're in the bully lane, right? XL bullies is what I like. So if I bought a male that I believed in, the only way for me to build his value would be one, win shows, or and two, productions.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
No,
How else can I build a value with my male?
I would go, no, it is, but on the other way, I would say first productions and then shows. In my value, that's my concept of value. I
Okay.
don't know if you said, I don't know if you meant if the order matters, but I think productions are more important than actually shows, big time.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because as an aspiring breeder, as a person starting a kennel, getting into the industry, um, picking a male, which may or may not turn out, and then let's say 18 months, 24 months when he's there, like you said with your boy, right? All of a sudden you looked up and you're like, wow, he looks amazing. So if I had that kind of male, right, and this is for breeders like myself or aspiring breeders, right, and we like a male, we like the pedigree, we like the phenotype, the genotype, we're going to invest in a puppy. How can I bring value to that puppy if he turns out the way we want him to?
I think that, like I said, first, the promoting. It depends a lot, Earl, because like I said, a dog, I usually breed to create reproducers and not to create show dogs. Show dog is, for me, show dog is like a consequence. Okay?
Okay.
Because my goal is to have reproducers in my camp, because I know that reproducers will produce champions. Champions not always will produce good producers, super producers.
Wow, that was
Okay,
deep. That was
and
deep. Oh my God. My mind's blowing
and
up
there
right now.
and there is a reason for that, but I will go back to that. Let me just finish the story of Manchai. So Manchai, that year that he won the best dog in the country, he was exported on a lease, on a partnership with a breeder in Italy. He became international champion, grand champion, and he participated in many events in many countries. He became multiple champion in all these countries. And then when he came back, I had a letter with him, and this is the most important part. That letter, I kept 6 males and 2 females. 2 females or 1 female. I think I kept 1 female, and I sold all of the 6 males. I kept one at 7 months old. I kept them all by 7 months, because most of my clients were breeders by then. I was already attracting a lot of breeders because of Manchai and because of other dogs that I had in my program that were my productions. And that litter, the first litter that I had with Manchai in my camp, the 7 puppies, one was a female exported to Taiwan, one was a male exported to Taiwan, but from another litter from him, both Taiwanese champions. And all of the other 5 were exported to Europe and Russia, and all of them became champions. So
Wow.
he was not only a good champion, a good show dog, but he was also a producer. And after and because of that, I became very good friends with the founder of Verdes Pampas, which was an idol for me, because that's the person that was my mentor, was a person that I really understood the bloodline. I had his blood in my yard. I started studying. The other dogs that I had were not directly from him, but had his bloodline. And we started a friendship and we became partners. And it was funny because that's the doggo that I saw, that I idolized that doggo. That's the breed, that's the camp that was my ideal doggo. And now few years later, I become his partner, and I own the brand here in the United States. So that was a very big accomplishment for me in the Dogo. And since I started with him, even before then, I already did some championships and stuff like that. But even after I started with Manchai and I started using Manchai and getting other females and producing other dogs, my Dogo career just went up. So we have altogether, we probably have over 100 champions and grand champions all over the world. And here in the United States, with my work here, we have a grand champion, #1 female in the USA, partially in 2021, Westminster champion, and first and second female in the Westminster Dog Show, which was never accomplished by any Dogo because it was the first year of Dogos. So in the same show in Westminster, we had 2 placements, and they were both from our program. Thank you. So that's my Dogo story. And this is why I started. A little long,
well, hold on.
Okay.
Before we segue there, I got 2 things for you. Number 1, hearing that story, I'm hoping that I'm you saving up for a dog to buy from someone that's my idol. And that one day I'm your partner and you're like, you know what, Earl, let's go. I love it. So this is very inspiring for me as a new person.
Awesome.
I want to be you back then, but instead I'm the one right now. I was a big fan of yours. So this is a very inspiring story.
It is, isn't it?
It is. So super.
And I think everybody that starts breeding has some breeder that they look up to, and they say, wow, you know, how do they do that? I want to learn from them. I want to have a dog from them. I want to be like them in a good way as breeding, you know. And this is really like very amazing, because I would never in my life dream about owning the brand and the dogs and creating together with my master at the time, my mentor, you know. So that also brought me to the bullies. Not only I started selling puppies abroad, I started delivering the puppies abroad myself, because in Brazil nobody did that kind of work. So I developed a way of taking my puppies abroad myself and getting to know my clients. And breeders started seeing me traveling dogs, and they started hiring me to travel their dogs. So slowly I left my business with my ex-husband to take care of, and I started traveling dogs. And this is when Dogo Jet started. And in 2017, I started transporting a lot of bullies, and that's when I got my first contact with the XL bullies. Just to answer your first question.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. But the thing is, let me ask you, and I don't know, so pardon my ignorance again. I'm assuming that the Dogo is a working class dog. I'm assuming that's a male dominated industry for breeding and show.
Absolutely.
So with that said, are you one of the pioneer women in that industry to really put your stamp and get the respect of these men, to show them that, listen, I'm here, I've arrived, and now everyone wants
No. Dogo Argentinos started way before me in Argentina. And in Argentina, we have great women that started with the breed, that saw the breed being brought up. One of the greatest kennels, some of the greatest kennels in Argentina started with women. And which one of them? Yes. Wow. Including judges that are, you know, they're older now, but they founded the breed, you know, with 40 years ago, when the breed was just starting to become recognized. These women actually they did a lot for the breed, showing, breeding, talking about the breed. But of course, they came from families that they were either hunters or they were already breeders, and they had a lot of contact with hunters
So we're
because the
talking about the
dogo started.
60s.
We're talking about the 60s,
60s,
the
50s.
70s. Well,
Okay,
more
60s,
like the
70s.
70s. Yeah, more like the 70s and the 80s.
Okay,
But
that makes sense to me on a timeline wise from historical value. And I'll explain to you why. So
okay.
the shift in economics happened during World War II. I don't know if you're familiar with this. So
Yeah.
with the US, my grandfather was a World War II veteran. The shift in economics happened. The power dynamics went to women, men went to war. Women were to here, women started working factories, right? Prior to World War II, women stayed home, men worked. You know, that was the social norm at the time. But after the war, women continued to work and become a positive part of the workplace and production. And that was really the start. The World War II was actually the start of women's empowerment. And so if
Exactly.
we walk into a Target right now, a majority of the floor space is going to be for women, kids, groceries. The men's section is in the back with tools and, you know, a very smart, but it's the truth because when you
That
talk
is
about
interesting.
the demographics of purchasing now, right? It's 90% based on women, marketing, and everything else. But prior to World War II, it was the man. And then it shifted. The kitchen that, you know, happy wife, happy life, but all these things. And all you have to do to prove my theory is walk into any department store. They don't have a
That's true.
Bloomingdale's for men. They don't. They don't have a nail shop for men. But that's beautiful because it infused women to our workplace of a position of empowerment and decision making. And so even corporate America realizes now that the woman is equally, if not more, influential in major purchases when it comes to a home, a vehicle,
Absolutely, yeah.
lifestyle, you know, because women are amazing. Because men can't give birth. We just can't, you know, and
Yeah, we have different, it's just different traits, I guess, you know, like
I don't know. Okay, well here. I think that women are the most beautiful of God's creation.
Thank
Two
you.
males. Well, no, seriously, right? So think about this.
Yeah,
In
but they
nature,
are.
right?
It is true.
In nature, two males will fight to the death for the right for a woman's attention. You'll never see that with two females fighting for a male. You know, in nature, I'm talking about pure animal nature,
Animal
lions and
instincts,
everything.
yeah.
Yes. But the male typically lives shorter and will have to fight and compete and earn his right for a woman's affection and the right to
That is
reproduce.
true.
And therefore, the reflection of that in sales, in marketing, in retail, I think it's a very good reflection. And I support it. I love it. So totally off topic.
Good point.
No, but it's the truth, and I love it,
No,
man.
but it has to do with when, you know, breeders were only men, and in the 70s, the 80s, that's when women started breeding, and in the 90s, that's when they really started shining. And actually, one of my best friends is a breeder, a Dogo Argentino breeder, that her career was at the best time of, you know, the Dogos in Argentina, 1990s and 2000s, you know, for sure.
Very, very nice.
So
Let's
yeah.
segue now. Now I'm going to ask you, from coming from a working class, show class, you know, all these things, how do you go from that to the American bully?
So, like I was saying, transporting dogs, I got to experience having a lot of transports with the American bully boom in the United States to other countries because, you know, 3-4 years later, after I started transporting, that's when the booming started in the XL American bullies here in the US. So I had clients all over the world, not only from Brazil, but, you know, I had clients in Korea buying dogs in Spain. I had clients in Russia buying dogs or in the United States or vice versa. I had clients in the United States sending dogs to China anyways. So I was doing 4 continents sometimes in a week of travel. And that's when I got to meet the first XLs. And I, transporting, having them in the hotel with me or hosting them in my house. When I first moved here, I hosted a lot of important kennel dogs because we're shipping them either by, with as flight nannies or by cargo. And one day I had 14 bullies here in my house, 14 XL puppies, and
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
we had Bossy, we had Burleson, we had MVP, we had who else? Better built bullies. We had Tri-Bully Kingdom, Top XL bullies. We had a whole bunch of beautiful puppies and adults here in Samba Kennels before it was even Samba. And seeing the interaction between them, among them, and seeing how they are a great, great, happy dogs and smart dogs, I just fell in love with them, in the colors and the looks, because they are not that they are similar to the dogos, but I was never fond of having smaller dogs for myself. I love every dog, but I didn't want to have a small dog or a small breed. I do love the look of a stunning, powerful dog. And that's what caught my eye. These bullies are beautiful, plus they have great temperament. And I didn't understand the fact that 2 males could live together, because in dogos that is impossible, almost impossible, and seeing all these males interacting, and it was very pleasant experience for me. It was a very it was very instigating for me to want to have a dog. And I used to tell my partner in transporting, I said, I'm going to have Mojib, Animals Logistics. I'm going to have a
Shout
bully.
out to Mojib, Animal Logistics. Let's go.
Yes, Animal Logistics. He's my great partner. I have known him for a long time. And actually, he was the one that provided me with these clients in the United States. He said, "Hey, I have work for you." And I transported Bossy Kennels. I transported Swag Kennels way back when they weren't even big, And I love their dogs. And I could just imagine the litters coming, because I've been breeding dogos for so many years, and all I see coming out of the females is white, white,
White.
white, white, white. But you know what?
Right?
Breeding a dog that has only one color, I believe that was one of the reasons that I'm so obsessed with structure, and I understand structure maybe deeply or deeper than and faster than if I was breeding another breed that had multiple colors, because sometimes we tend to choose a dog by the color, by the marking, and we don't focus as much in the structure,
Makes
and when you
sense.
have a dog that's only one color, one color, one color, what do you look for? Totally type and structure.
All the details, right? Because it's only one color.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
goodness. Whew. You are driving me crazy tonight. So was there, I'll ask you a question, right? So in doing all this transport with these dogs, was there a particular dog that just you bonded with that made you say, you know what, I'm getting into this breed because of this dog?
No, honestly, not one that I can remember, but what caught my heart was exactly the fact that how they interacted as a pack.
Okay.
More than an individual trait, it was the temperament collectively.
Very interesting. So that's what got you in, and obviously you brought a blessing here to the United States with Mr. Klaus. Can you tell us more about that story? How did
Yes.
Klaus come to be? How did you bring this magnificent dog here that all of us are going crazy over, and we just can't get enough of him? And I've seen him in person. I've touched him. He's just amazing. Tell us that story, because I think a lot of existing breeders and aspiring breeders would love to know, how did this dog come to be? You know, because obviously you're the innovator. You got him here. He's here now. So tell us about that.
Well, at one point, I had been breeding bullies not so long, and I've always loved males. I've always bonded with my boys so much that, you know, I had some great male dogs in dogos, and I have Chuck Norris. My first bully was a male, and he's a gorgeous dog, but he just I picked him as a puppy, so you don't, you know, and I never buy puppies as a breeder. I never buy puppies. I invest in my own puppies, but because I was starting in the bullies, you know, I said I'm just gonna get a puppy because I want him to grow with me. I want to raise him, and I have the greatest dog. Chuck Norris is an amazing character. He's sweet, he's loving, he's everything that I wanted from. But when I chose him, I didn't really know my path and where I wanted to get until
Well,
about 2 years later that I started studying. And, you know, a year and a half later, I really studied and understood type and understood what I wanted from a male. And that's when I started looking for a stud. So I was every day searching for studs, but I didn't want to, like you, right? You are doing the same right now.
oh my God. Oh my
You are
God, that's
doing the same
hilarious.
right now.
That touches
Exactly.
my
And
heart, because when I reach out to people and I geek out over their dogs, that's exactly the feeling. Like, to hear that from somebody like yourself, it's words of affirmation. So anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no way. I just needed to have. Oh, let me rewind the tape.
Okay.
So when I bought Chuck, I was just starting to understand the breed. Okay. My second dog, I wanted to bring somebody from Brazil because of my transport career and also because of my dogo career. I knew a lot of breeders down there, and a lot of breeders know me. And I did some transport for breeders in Brazil, and I really saw potential in the dogs there as I was understanding the breed more. And I said, I believe that when I bring the right dogs to the United States from Brazil, and I put them together with the consistent bloodlines that I like here, we're gonna have beautiful surprises. More that excited me more than doing just two American dogs or just two Brazilian dogs. So I brought a girl pregnant from a dog from Brazil, and I had a litter. It was a nice litter, but it still wasn't what I was searching for. So I bought another female from Brazil. That didn't work out. Unfortunately, she had a health problem, and I ended up not using her. Okay. I took her out of the program, and I said, no, I need a male. So I started, you know, I was every day looking and searching for dogs. And like I said, searching for the stud. That's when I saw this video, and I quietly thought to myself, this is the man. I have to bring this dog over. Coincidentally, I contacted the breeder through through Instagram. I already knew his page, but when I saw his page, he sent me his WhatsApp, because I don't like to talk business on Instagram. I asked him to give me his WhatsApp, and when I texted him on WhatsApp, we had already talked about transport. He consulted me
Oh,
for a
okay.
transport. And that's
Okay.
Alex from Kani, Russia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I watch his stuff too. Trust me.
And Kani, Russia, when I said to him, I was gonna present myself in WhatsApp, and guess what? He says, "Hey, I was gonna say, hey, do you know who I am? You know, I want to talk to you." Say, hey, we've already talked. I have a question for you. I want to get to know your dog better. And he said, sure. You know, what do you want to know? And I said, well, I'm thinking of bringing him to the United States. What do you think? I think he will shine here. Not that he doesn't shine in Brazil, but I think I can give him a lot of exposition, and I think he could add a lot of what we need in the bullies here: type, bone, substance, rear, and plus a special bloodline. You know, not very many people had bullies from Brazil here. A lot of them had them, but they never really marketed them, providing the value that the Brazilian dogs deserved and the Brazilian breeders deserved. And my whole idea was, and I had brought dogs from Brazil before, like I said, and you know, I was always mentioning the breeder and showing love to the breeder, and made sure that he was recognized by being the breeder of that bitch. And now I have Alex on the phone, and I said, I really want to make a difference in your life. You know, let's see what we can do, and if you go through the steps that I want you to do, so I can see if it's suitable for me to bring the dog. And he said, yeah, I'm willing to do. I think we can work something out. So I asked him to do a whole bunch of health testing on the dog. It took me like a month to get all the health testing done. And a month and a half later, he was here at Samba Kennels.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing story. That's
Yeah.
that takes you know, to be honest with you, to do something like that takes a lot of bravado and guts, because you know what's the norm, right? The norm here is to, okay, buy a popular dog a puppy from a popular dog popular dog B, you know, then you produce popular dog C in theory. But instead of doing that, you said, you know what, I'm going to bring different substance to this industry. You know, I see something back at home in Brazil that nobody sees here, and I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to light this world on fire. That is a visionary. That is somebody
It
that
was a
has a lot of
risk.
courage. Oh, it's a risk.
It was a
Everything in
risk.
life is a risk.
A lot of people try to discourage me. A lot of people, um, when I, because I didn't ask anybody's opinion, to be honest with you. I just went and got him. This is something that I'm really proud of. And I had a major issue. He was a fawn, a black fawn, one of the hardest colors to breed to. And the market was asking for tries and for merles, and
Tries and merles.
I
Yep.
don't give a shit. I'm gonna go for him because I like him. And it was a
Okay, here we go. Sumo Bully Kennels Breeders Interview Part 2 with the Queen of Brazil, Aurea with Samba Kennels. So at the
hey
end
Earl,
of the last,
how are you? We're back.
we're back. My gosh, we were just getting sick at the last conversation, transitioning into the bully world. You started looking at different dogs and you wanted a stud. That's where we left off. So let's pick up from there.
That
So,
is correct.
all right, let's do it. Here we go.
So do you want me to go back to where I started, which was why I went to get Klaus, right? We're talking
Yes.
about the risk. We're talking about, you know, the risk of being, like I said, I never buy puppies. I invest in puppies that are my productions, but as a breeder, I've learned the hard way that puppies is a higher investment than it actually is an adult, because, you know, it's a 50-50 situation. You can be lucky and get a puppy that will turn out and hope that it will turn out, or you can spend a year and a half raising that puppy and it doesn't turn out. So that is a higher risk for me to take at this, at this point in my life. I just prefer to invest a little higher money up front, but having something more guaranteed, because an adult, usually when you buy a puppy, you don't have any guarantees. Even if the breeder gives you guarantee that it's going to turn out, first, no breeder should ever guarantee on puppies because they don't even know. They assume, they have the experience by looking at a puppy, but nobody ever knows if the puppy's going to have a structural issue, a bite issue, like how the bite turns out.
I know.
Even the temperament, as dogs mature, they change a little bit their temperament. So everything is much easier, a little higher investment, but when you're buying an adult, you already know what you're getting. And I usually prefer to buy adults to add to my program as it is right now. And that's what I did. I was searching for a male stud that would check on all the boxes for what I understood that we needed here in the US, that I needed for my program, and that I could provide value also to the community. And that's when I found Mr. Klaus. And being a black fawn was a risk, because not to my program, because I can work the colors later on, like I've done it in the first breeding, but also as a market perspective. You're not exactly bringing what most buyers want to buy. But I wasn't really worried about it. I just, when I look at a dog, I look at the overall qualities and not small traits or even flaws that most people sometimes they get attached to. They get attached to little details and things that can be corrected along the way. And this is what we're here for. We're here as breeders to understand that we need individuals with traits that we want, and enhance or improve those traits along the way. And this is what a breeder work should be like,
100% agree. And to be honest with you, to elaborate on the point you just made, is that, as an aspiring breeder, as a person who I'm in the industry now, I've invested, right? And I wish I would have spoken to you earlier, right? And say, hey, Earl, because the way we talk, you would have told me like, hey, cool, you want to roll the dice on 2 puppies? Great. Also pick up 2 adults so that you can get your program moving and the cash flow moving, because that's a big part of it, right?
Exactly.
I wish, my gosh. And you know what? No one told me that. Everyone was just trying to sell me a dog, and not like, okay, I was like, okay, cool. Oh, wow, that's good blood. Oh, that's good pedigree. That's good this, that's good that. However, for people, and I've dealt with people who have been, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years in the industry, no one told me that. And that's kind of one of my things where it's like, it kind of hurts, right? Because it's like, okay, you understand what I'm doing. You should have maybe told me like, hey, it might behoove you to at least get 1 adult so that you can get moving and get the experience, right? And no one said nothing. And,
maybe because they don't even think like that. I see that a lot of people don't think like that. I see that sometimes they don't have the vision. Unfortunately, we have a lot of breeders that are not really breeders. They're pet owners that are trying to be breeders. And I've seen even people trying to mentor other people in life, and with all due respect to their thinking, oh, I want to be able to raise my puppy and that it grows with me. But that's not what makes your program. what makes you program is you understanding the dogs that you want to create and searching for dogs that will create or help you get there. And puppies won't help you get there. Puppies might help you get there because you're getting from the bloodlines that you like, and you're getting from, you know, the phenotype that you see. But a puppy is a surprise, you know. You're investing all of that money, initial investment in buying a puppy, and then you're investing at least 18 months of food, veterinarian care, attachment, which is the most expensive one. And then you have to decide, okay, now I have a pet quality dog in my house. Didn't turn out how I wanted. I wasted all the investment. I wasted the time. I wasted,
money,
you know, the
time
space for, and most of all, now I have to get rid of a dog that is part of my family. And you have to choose. Sometimes, you know, smart breeders have to choose, because I always say the same place that takes one good dog eating or a bad dog eating could be eating a good dog. And when I'm talking about good dog and bad dogs, please don't understand me wrong. I'm talking about breeding quality dogs. So just a second, let me fix something here. This is not a toy. This is not a toy for you to play. I have some babies here getting the wrong things to play. And I'm gonna show them in a minute. Okay, there you go. Okay, this is a toy, and you can play with this. Go get it. Go get it.
Who is that?
That's Klaus.
Oh, wow. Mr. Klaus himself. What an amazing dog, first of all.
They decided to get, hey, calm down. They decided to get one of my ornaments here from the living room. Hey guys, calm down. Yeah, they're happy. They were in their crates, but now I have them loose and they're just having fun a little bit before they go to bed again.
That's what they do. So very
Klaus.
interesting that you said that. Very, very interesting, because, you know, there's a part of it that loves dogs, and then, you know, you kind of do your research, and then, like, that's a mistake I made as a breeder.
Yes, absolutely.
That I went down that rabbit hole and I picked up a bunch of puppies. I got a ton of puppies, and guess what? No productions, right? Because I can't do nothing for the next 15 to 17 months, right? With the age of the puppies I have. My oldest puppy is 6 months. So I got, what, another 12 months before anything can happen?
Exactly.
I didn't know that, to be honest. And I wish somebody would have just...
But somebody told you that.
Oh, yes. No, I'm about to get to that. So that somebody is you. And just like you brought an import from Brazil that shocked the world, I was looking all over the place for a good quality, breed quality female that's at least 12 months old. And guess what? You were like, let's get this girl. And you showed me, oh my God, she's beautiful.
She is.
Fortuna.
Fortuna is coming to Sumo Bullies. I can't wait. Next month.
Yes, via Dogo Transport, via Aurea, via Samba Kennels.
That's correct.
And she is a very, very beautiful girl. You know, we'll make some announcements once everything is settled in. You know, I don't want to make any announcements yet. But definitely she has that, oh my God, the phenotype.
And that's another thing that I was going to get to. Not only she's already ready, but now she's proven, because she's a mom.
Yep.
She's proven that she can deliver, that she can produce well, and she's taking really good care of her puppies, her first litter. So it adds even more value to your purchase,
Oh,
as a bitch.
absolutely.
This is so important, having bitches that are good mothers and that can produce, good litters and take care of them. So I'm so
it's
excited for this.
I am super excited, and what's crazy is that you brought it up. I wasn't even going to say anything. I
We
was going
had
to
to talk
wait.
about it.
Well, I'm a modest person, and for me, it's we have a vision, right? And I was really more having a good time talking to you and understanding where you're at and your vision. I was not going to, outshine you or whatever, even though you're the only one that made it possible. And we'll do a different segment interview why we got into Fortuna. But for today, let's keep it on you. That's
Thank
that's what
you.
I'm here for.
No, but you're a great
That's
example. You're a great example of what we were just talking about. And, especially at the point that you are at, that you're starting and you're starting already with an adult. That's going to take you 2 years in advance in your program, if you think about it, in your experience as a breeder. Because, when some breeders start as buying puppies, it takes them at least a year and a half to 2 years to actually experience the breeding management, the breeding life, the whelping, the joy and the tears, because there's a lot of
oh, of
problems that come
course.
with it. And that's what makes us good breeders. It's also the bad experiences, because they will come, but I'm gonna be here for
Well,
you all the way.
well, I'm on my road to becoming a good breeder with the help of people like yourself that are guiding me, helping me, giving me good advice. And I'm so very thankful and blessed for that. And with that
That's
said,
great.
okay, so you had a vision of Klaus, right? Let's get back to Klaus because I love that boy. Uh, you saw him, you're like, okay, I got to have him, brought him here. Uh, Share with us your vision of your goals with Klaus, right? He's here now, and obviously you had stud breaking records for lock-ins and whatnot. And what's your vision with him? Share with us.
I think that we are about, like, I am in the process of getting to every little step of the way that I planned for his career. He already proved to be one of the top studs in the world in the XL bullies, as far as being notorious, as far as being different, complete. He's done not only the marketing part of it, but I'm talking about the productions, my my first step was to bring him as a stud for the market, for the US market and the world. So the first one was the US, that one is already covered. Now taking him to other countries, that's already been covered. We have him in the UK, we have him in Europe, we have him going to Slovakia soon, and to Australia, and Asia possibly. And then the next step for me was to breed to him an in-house breeding, but that would take a little longer because I wanted to do the right breeding.
Okay.
So I needed to have a right female for him, which I didn't have. I didn't want to breed him to my Brazilian girl, and I didn't want to breed him to Chuck Norris' daughter because of the traits. I just thought it wasn't the right breeding. I might maybe do it one day, I don't know, but at this moment I wanted to have the best female for him as far as my vision. So I researched, I looked, and I found it after 8 months. I bought Lily, Walker's Littermate sister, Boss's Tetra with King Zion. Amazing bloodline, amazing pedigree,
Hold on,
amazing
hold on.
dogs.
Fire, fire,
For
fire.
sure.
My goodness.
And I was going by Fino and Gino, but the results were amazing, and you approve of it. You know, you're seeing it in person. So I'm very excited I can't wait to see them grow, because as puppies, they are perfect. I've never had a litter so consistent in my entire breeding career. As far as
I'll be honest
quality,
with you. I tapped in with you around 3.5, 4 weeks. I saw him, I saw Lily, I saw Lily's, pedigree, the all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is something different, right? And so I was like, I got to get involved with this. And you kept telling me, like, because I picked the second fawn female, right? Second pick fawn female.
that is correct.
And you kept saying, well, I don't know which one it's going to be. And I looked at that whole litter and I'm just like, how do you even pick? They're so, so consistent. I don't even know what to say, to be honest with you. Like,
I
even as a
know
new person,
and one thing
oh my
that
gosh.
when I mentor, I tell a lot of the people that search for help with me, I always tell them to not be disappointed when the litter comes and they grow and they start seeing that there's going to be like 20-30% of really good dogs in a litter, 20-30% of pet quality, and maybe 50-60% of medium quality, average quality good dogs. But you're going to have a variety there, even if it's a consistent litter in type or in size or whatever. You still will have this curve of quality. And in this litter, I just had like 100% consistency in quality. I'm not even talking about type, because we had some different types. The males are different types from each other. The females were very consistent in looks. Each one of them have different traits, different colors, and even different types. Some of them look more like the mom, some of them look more like the dad, but they're all amazing. Like, they're all high quality. And no wonder why they were all sold at 4 weeks old.
What's crazy is that I got 2 girls from you, right? My first, what we wanted was a fawn, tri-carrier, dilute carrier girl off of Klaus, because he's throwing his phenotype, and then we ended up getting the second girl that was a tri-chocolate. So our tri-chocolate looks like Lily, and she has a beautiful face. Our fawn girl looks like Klaus. To me, he's got the wrinkles on the head like Klaus's face. And if you look at it, we're like, there's no way these two are litter mates, and they're both beautiful.
And the funny thing is, I noticed that the puppies that are the fawn ones, they bring more the pheno from Klaus, and the tri ones bring more from Lily. I don't know if there's any technical explanation for that, if it is really scientifically proven that the colors also bring other traits. But definitely I've seen in my litter that the fawn one, and it's not because of the color, I'm talking about physical traits, exactly physical traits.
For sure.
Klaus, come here. See if he comes here to say hi. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Hannah is here.
Hi, Hannah.
Hey, baby.
Ooh, that's my big girl.
Yes.
Beautiful girl. I met her too. Amazing. My gosh. And what's crazy about that litter, it's like, how do you even pick when you have a litter that consistent? I don't even know how you do it, to be honest.
I had an idea, I sold all the boys. I only kept one. But the girls, I co-own 3 girls, 4 co-owned. I sold them all co-owned. One of them is with you. And so I still have them around to continue the program and the vision.
Well,
Because I
yes,
couldn't let them go.
100%.
I couldn't let them go and take the chance of not ever seeing them again, you know?
Okay, so I kind of see where you're going with it.
He got tired.
There he
Hey,
is.
Klaus. Oh, where's the ball? Oh, he has his toy. He doesn't care about anybody right now.
No, he wants that ball. So, okay, and I'll share with you kind of my vision of getting girls from you, right? So I don't want to do a direct inbreed, because it's high risk, right? I had the girls embarked, their COI works for a male with a higher COI. And so for me, if you don't mind me sharing like what males I like to take to our girls, if that's okay
Of
with you.
course not. Of course.
So we're talking about Klaus and
Before
Lily.
you start, make sure that you put your Instagram page there or your email, because you're going to start talking, and I'm sure we're going to have some people already wanting to put a deposit in those litters.
Well, here's the reality of things, right? I have two girls off of Klaus and Lily. Lily's off Zion, who's Whopper's litter mate from GHB. Everyone knows who that is, who's in this community. Whopper is a producer, and he's very nice. So for me, to take one of my Klaus girls to the uncle, right? Either Zion or Whopper makes sense to me. And then I double down and take that back to Klaus. That's a good, solid double line breed locking the traits. Oh, big time. Because the inbreeding is, it's too high risk.
Yeah, but
it's too
people
tight.
are very, but sometimes it works really well too. Sometimes some risks are worth taking. Yes. But I don't want to talk about it. Oh yeah. I don't like too close breedings. I have done accidentally in my first year of breeding, or my second year of breeding, I had one of my females bred to her dad.
Okay.
And it was an accident. The dad was only 9 months. No, I'm sorry, the other way around. One of my females bred to her son. And it was an accident. The dog was only 9 months. I didn't even know that a dog at 9 months could breed. I was just starting my breeding, I wasn't so careful. I didn't understand all the risks. And we left them together. She was in heat, and I didn't think that nothing was going to happen, that anything was going to happen. And I had an offer. Somebody wanted to buy that girl from me, a big breeder of dogos in Brazil. And we're talking 2006, maybe. Yeah, 2006. And she bought the female. And a month later, she said, "Hey, Aurea, I have a surprise for you." I said, "What?" "She's pregnant." And I said, "Oh, but did you breed her? Because she was in heat here." And she says, "No, she's pregnant from your kennel." And I said, "I only have one boy, so it must have been him." Well, guess what? Sire, mother to son, unintentional, and the dog became one of the biggest names in Brazil because he was one of the sons she kept. There was 4 puppies. And another thing is, very close, tight breedings, like inbreedings, the chances of smaller litters, okay? So there was only 4 puppies, and she kept one male. And that male turned out to be better than his dad, better than his mom, better than his grandpa, and he was an inbreeding, which I didn't do intentionally, but I learned that some ingredients can go really wrong, but when it goes right, it goes really right, you know? And amazingly, because he had big bones, big size, he was bigger. And usually in tight breedings, you tend to lose a little bit of substance
Yeah.
and weight and height. In this case, it was the opposite. All the puppies were big, and that boy was actually huge. And he became a champion in Brazil. He was beautiful. He was beautiful.
That was an accidental risk.
It was an accident. No, it was an accident. But
Right.
I never did it on purpose, but I had this happening in my yard. But I have a lot of friends, even my partners, that have done close tight inbreedings like that. But yes, the chances of going wrong are bigger than going right. Because maybe you get, let's see, maybe you get like one good dog out of 10 in the litter, and then you might have 3, 4, 5 with genetic health problems, and it's not worth taking, you know. But
Correct.
depending, if you know the bloodline very well and you know your dogs, you know, some breeders, they can take the risk because they know how far they can go. Some people are
Okay.
extremely against it, but I'm not. I respect who does it. I don't like doing it. I never did it intentionally, but I'm not saying that I'm never gonna do it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you shared that because I'll share something with you. So I grew up on a farm, and I grew up with game fowl fighting roosters, and breeding is a big thing. Line breeding, inbreeding, out crosses, or they call it back at home crossbreeding. And so my understanding of breeding and productions comes from game fowl, which are high commodity, high stakes, especially back at home, just like uh, the bully industry in the US, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I understand breeding from. In terms of being a dog breeder, yes, I'm new. However, in a rural setting, inbreeding, crossbreeding, line breeding, game fowl, water buffalo, goats, things like that, I do have experience there. And even
So you understand genetics, yeah.
Yes. So, like in terms of like breeding pigs for production, for consumption, I understand that part. But in terms of like being, somebody in the industry with bullies, specifically XL, because that's what I like. I'm new in that, but I understand pairings. So there, I'm not new. I grew up on a farm. I grew up understanding it, the sales, the
And
business
what can you
aspect of
tell me
things.
about? And what can you tell me about inbreeding
Inbreeding tightens the
the
blood.
roosters?
So yeah, so in the
Or
roosters, you are going to lock in some traits. However, you're going to have, so let's say, for example, let me just make this very simple. So let's say you have a 10-pound rooster, and I'm just going to throw numbers out there randomly. And if you inbreed him to his mom, you're going to get like a 7.5-pound rooster. Oh,
wow.
there's my favorite.
The big man. Hey, you're gonna
What a
okay.
lover.
Yes. I love you too, Bubba. But he's doing that because his sister is here and he needs to show off. Like I have my mama, you don't. Hi, mama.
So, like in the Philippines, in my country of origin, typically we weigh the eggs, right? And if the egg doesn't make weight, the egg is discarded.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
cool.
And then when the chicks are hatched, if the chicks have any defects, we call it recycling. So if the
what do
chick
you
has
do with
any
them?
culling.
Calling, you call them.
Yes. So if
Hardcore.
yes. So if the egg doesn't make weight, the egg is discarded and used for consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Once the chicks are born, they start hitting different stages. If they don't hit the measurements, they call them.
Okay.
And they only take the cream of the crop, top of the top, basically. That makes
It starts with a heavy egg.
It starts with an egg. The eggs come
With
out,
the
they weigh
weight
the
of,
egg, the weight of the
that's
egg.
so
Yep.
funny. That is really
Even at
curious.
that point, it's very like, you know, it's something different, and that's why it's like, getting into this industry kind of tricky, but very excited, very exciting ventures, and especially connecting with somebody like yourself who had a vision, who took a chance, who brought an import here, a specimen of a dog. And
Yeah.
I've seen him, I've touched him, I've played with him. Let me tell you,
Hmm.
it's easy to see a picture in a video, but when you see it in person, you're like, I don't even know what this is. This is something out of this world.
Yeah, that boy is. Uh-oh. He broke out the crate. She wants to be here. Okay, Mama. Okay, you made it. You made it. That boy is Klaus is like it's he has everything that I was looking for. He's a wow factor dog. He has an amazing temperament, even though he's a little bit shy. It's him, and also the way he was brought up in Brazil, the culture there is a little different. So dogs are usually kennel dogs. They don't live inside. It takes them a little while to understand other people and strangers because they don't have so much contact. Only the people that circle their, their
Yep.
community there. But he adapted really well. And I'm very happy when I saw him in person. I had the same impact as you did. Oh my God, he's even better in person.
Oh,
So,
big time. You can't even appreciate it. Like if you're wowed by videos and pictures and you see it in person, it's a different experience. I'll tell you that. And spending time with you and seeing him, getting puppies from you, I was fully confident. And so
yeah.
leads me to my next question. Like you
And
got
you
him
met
here?
Lily too, right? You
Oh,
met Lily too. You got to see the mama, right?
yeah. Beautiful.
Come here.
Beautiful,
Come on.
beautiful. So Lily, you got from K&Q. That's a Bossy production, right?
No, Lily is Kings and Queens bullies.
Yes.
But actually, this litter, Whopper litter, is a little controversial. A lot of people claim credit for the litter. I don't really know the story, so I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna put them in the crates here so they can sleep. Go, Baba, go. Come on. And I believe Lily was a puppy back for the breeding because the owner of Bossy Tetra was actually golden bullies, I think. And
Okay.
I don't really know the story of how that litter ended up with Gatorhead bullies, but the puppy back stayed with King and Queens, and later on he sold it to Centra Bullies, and Centra Bullies sold her to me.
Thank you, Center Bullies.
Thank you, Angelo Centra Bullies. That is correct.
Yes. Shouts out
For
to you. Thank you
for having, giving me the opportunity to have Lily, for sure.
Of course. And without that, I wouldn't have my girls from you. So thank you very much. I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Very, very
Beautiful
nice
thing.
opportunity. It was very easy to negotiate with him, a great guy. Angelo, thank you again from my heart. And I send him pictures of the puppies all the time.
Very nice. And Angelo, I'd love to connect with you one day and maybe have you as a guest.
Oh,
It
that
would
would be
be
awesome.
an honor. Yeah, it would be an honor, of course.
And yes,
Okay,
and
so
Angelo has Champion Mark, a great dog, great producer. He can talk about him in your life, but check it out, Central Bullies.
okay, it's on Instagram.
It is. You know what? I think his page went down, and
Okay,
he just bought a dog from Brazil.
very nice.
He just bought a dog from Brazil, and the dog came, a big block son, and I think his page went down like a couple of days later because I tried to talk to him and I searched for him and I didn't find him. And I know he had a problem with his page not too long ago. Hopefully he's gonna get it back like he did last time.
Okay, let me
Okay?
ask you a question about that. When a page goes down, is that a personal page or a business page?
Doesn't matter. It could be anyone.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. It could be any
Huh.
page. It could be creator. It could be, oh my God, there he comes. Baby.
Big
He just
baby.
he wants my attention. He doesn't want me talking to you.
He just needs a tennis ball.
Oh yeah.
That's all.
I
That's all
don't
he
have any
wants.
balls laying around here because if I do, he will destroy them before he plays with them. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
I'm here.
let me ask you this as a fan of yours.
He got my
What
microphone.
what meals do you like? What meals catch your eyes out there?
Oh my God, there are so many, honestly. It's hard for me to say a male, a dog. I think we talked about this once, and I told you that for me, it's different than choosing like best singer or best soccer player, you know,
Okay.
because I don't see dogs as just one purpose. I think every dog has a different purpose. And for example, if you ask me what is the best male for your program, as a reproducer, which one is the best producer? It depends. So far, how many have produced better puppies or better adults? Or I can say today, King Zion maybe is one of my favorites. And then it's hard for me to say because I see dogs as different pieces of a puzzle. So if you ask me who is the best show dog, I'd probably say Champion Future is one of my favorite dogs that I've seen and that I think is one of the best champions out there. Great show dog, technically, retype, standard, technically almost perfect, you know? No dog's perfect, but he's technically almost perfect for the state.
I'm gonna really put you on the hot seat right now. Yeah? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Best rear. And you can't pick any dog on your yard.
Jumanji.
Ooh, okay, I like it. Ooh, best head.
Ooh, Champion King.
Head.
King by far, but he's passed.
Okay.
Boss is
Okay.
King.
Yeah. Best front. I
think Whopper.
Oh, I like that one. I geek out over Whopper. I really do. Best top line.
I don't know because I don't really care about top line that much.
Okay.
Because I think that's something it's easy to correct.
Well,
so
it's not
something that impacts my eye too much. you know, so
Feet.
it's not something that that's oh, good bar.
Wow, we're going like crazy. We're like building the perfect dog right now. We're taking all the pieces. Wow. Okay. Oof. That's a yeah, no, I can't argue that. I definitely cannot argue that. Huh. How else can I give you a hard time today? Uh, my gosh. Are you a neck person like the neck
Oh, absolutely.
okay, who is it?
Mowgli.
Mowgli. Oh, that
Yeah.
was out of left field. I've never seen Mowgli in
And
person,
I'm
so I cannot
and I
comment.
have and I have and he really surprised me. He's a beautiful dog.
Wow. That was out of left field. I didn't expect that one. Rear, okay, Jumanji, yeah,
And
okay,
I'm talking
okay.
about dogs that are more popular. I'm sure I've seen other dogs that have also great qualities. As far as everything that we're talking about, I'm just trying to mention the ones that most people know, and some of them I have seen in person.
Okay.
So now there's
Well,
one dog. Are you gonna make me
uh-oh.
any other questions about males? You can.
Right? Oof, that's a tough one. No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, ask me another one. Are you missing anything?
No, okay, so males is one thing, and okay, there's no perfect dog, right? So that's why I asked you the breakdown of
That was
best
great
rear,
help.
top left.
Thank you.
How about I put you on the spot? Uh, give me some females you like. Current
Oh, I thought you were
females.
gonna go. I still have one male that I want to mention
Okay,
that
who is it?
I think that he has a little bit of everything that we're talking about.
Uh-oh,
And,
uh-oh.
you know, he has amazing rear.
Okay.
He has beautiful front. He has what for me is more important than anything, which is breed type. Um, and he's a great show dog.
Will you give me 5 guesses to see who it is?
And he's also proving to be a great producer. Oh, you want to
Okay,
guess?
perfect.
No, five is too
Yeah.
much. Five is too many.
Wow. Okay. How many guesses will you give me?
Three.
3? That's tough. That is so tough. Okay, so we're talking about a good producer, a good show dog, breed standard. Good Lord. Um, I get 3 guesses. I'm not even a show person, so I feel like I'm unqualified to answer this
No, you're
question.
not.
But I'll tell you what, I'm gonna pick who I think it is, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, here we go. My first one. Hmm. Okay, I only got 3, so I got to make this count. Smash.
No.
Ah, I need a
Great
lifeline right now.
dog. Great dog too, but
Oh,
it's
I
not him.
freaking love Smash. My second, I'm tied between, and I don't know if they show him or not. Cause see, the thing is, I'm not a show person, so
Shit,
my
just a
number
second.
2. Uh
My dog knocked me over here.
huh.
No, baby. You knocked everything down.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be completely biased of the dogs I like. So right now, like, yeah, obviously, okay, I lost my first pick. So my second pick, I'm going to go between. I'm debating between Zippo, Whopper, uh, Gold Bar.
Hey, you're already saying 4 there. It's not fair.
I know, but I gotta pick. I gotta pick my second pick. So I'm gonna go with. So my second pick is gonna have to be. Zippo is young. He's not barely 12 months. Um, then you got Gold Bar's pretty young too. I gotta go Whopper.
Great dogs, but none of them. You're wrong.
Okay, I got one more. I got one more. Uh, can you give me a hint? Okay, you gotta throw me a lifeline. All right.
What
I'm
is
gonna
a
ask you
lifeline?
three. A lifeline is I'm gonna ask you three questions, and you gotta kind of guide me, right? Because obviously I don't know who you're thinking. So, is this dog Tri Lilac?
Yes. Lilac
Okay.
try. Mm-hmm.
Lilac Tri. Okay, hold on. I'm going on Google right now. Lilac Tri. Is this dog under 2 years old?
Um,
Because that's going to eliminate some dogs.
no, no. Under
No?
2 or under 3?
Under 2.
No.
Okay, perfect. That eliminates half the dogs I'm looking at now. 1 second. Lilac Tri, over 2 years old. Oh, and it's show and throws his look. Oh, I got you. Hold on. I got this. I'm gonna figure this out for you. Oh, lilac
That's a hard one.
tri, lilac tri over 2. Okay. Is this dog active in competition in shows?
Yeah.
Top Gun.
Champion,
Ah!
grand champion Top Gun. Yes.
I knew it. See, so you can like for me, it's like I look at a lot of dogs and it's like, okay, I gotta
Emmanuel
understand
Tavares. Amazing work that he did with the dog. And
that guy is so sweet. He is so sweet. I've reached out
first
to him.
choice Tanner, the breeder. All
Yeah.
credits to him, and the breeding was amazing. A champion future son.
Yep, for sure.
And you know, like he really he's catching everybody's attention with his productions now.
Oh
He's
no,
beautiful.
he is a beautiful dog. And I tell you what, Emmanuel does amazing with his pictures. Like his picture is just amazing.
His
And
whole
obviously,
page is his whole page is crazy because all the visual identity, all his videos very much alike. I mean the the low exposition in the images and the looks
mhm.
and oh, and Top Gun just contrasts so beautifully those eyes, and just great
Well,
dog,
he definitely a beautiful dog.
and he worked
Okay,
his way up to the top by himself.
right.
All credit and all my love to Emmanuel and his family with Top Gun.
Respect, Emmanuel. Respect.
Much
See,
respect.
a person like that and a person like you inspires me.
Oh,
That's the
thank
truth.
you. Yeah, for
It
sure.
really is because, like, I see you guys and I'm like, I geek out over you guys and I'm like, wow, how cool it would be if I could do something like that, right? And then to have people like you to give me advice and help me, it's like a dream come true, to be honest.
Oh,
And
thank you.
we're speaking to future breeders for, maybe beginner breeders, maybe breeders that are, midway through their process and they haven't hit their stride yet, right? We can all hit our stride together. And that's how I feel
Absolutely.
about it. So, all right, here we go. Rapid fire segment. What big announcements do you have, Aurea, Queen of the Bully Brazil? What do we got? Tell us something,
Oh,
something juicy.
juicy,
Juicy
juicy.
news. Yes.
And it's coming up. Well, she
Okay.
was right here. My next move is a radical one, and
Okay.
it's concerning Klaus' sister,
Okay.
Hannah. Hannah she's from one previous litter. She's not a litter mate, but she's a full sister from same mom and dad. Klaus was actually a repetition breeding from the first breeding.
Okay.
And I think you've seen her. She is gorgeous. She's sweet. She is even thicker than Klaus. If you look from the top, like she's so thick. She's one of the thickest bitches I've ever seen in my life, as a fact. And I decided not to take her to an XL because I just thought that she's gonna, probably all the substance is going to be cleaned up if I use a big dog. And I'm going to, instead of, because she's the female, I thought the idea would be to take her to a pocket, an extreme pocket. So our next breeding in Samba Kennels will be Hannah, Klaus' sister, to Colossal from
Wow.
Folkenstein Bullies
Okay.
from Cannes. And he's an
Okay.
extreme pocket. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dog. Very correct. Very, very wow factor dog. He has all the traits that I look, the breed standard, the freaking huge head, cheekbones, short muzzle, the neck. Oh, the neck on that boy is amazing. The front is, he's like a little, I don't know how to say. He's everything that I want an XL to be, but in a pocket. So that's how it should be, you know?
Okay.
So, sorry, I have to check on my boy here because he's searching for the cookies on the table. Oh, you like the cookies? He's actually jumping on the table for a cookie. So, yeah, so this is going to be it. Hannah and Colossal coming up soon. She's not in heat yet, but I think she's coming. So it should be, we should do the breeding soon, like by the end of October. Sit. Sit.
Okay. And so
Sit.
let me ask you, because you're doing something out of the ordinary again in Aurea fashion, right?
Yes, Aurea
What
style.
Aurea style, right, is to be an innovator. What do you expect out of that? What are you trying to create? And what should people expect out of that breeding? Give us your vision.
That's what I was telling you. I want to bring a bullier dog, no matter the size. I want to bring the bulliness back to the XLs. And how do we do that? Going back to the pockets and bringing those traits that are lacking now by breeding XLs to XLs. You end up getting taller dogs, longer legs.
Leggy. Yep.
When you increase the size, you lose the, when you increase the height, especially the front height, you end up losing shoulder and chest spread. So I would prefer to produce more compact dogs independently of the size, because if I need, if in this production, even though the mom is an XL, so she will probably bring more traits to the litter, to the table, and I'm hoping that we're gonna have more XLs than standards or even pockets, because the mom brings more genes to the table than the actual male. But all the traits from the male, and because Colossal is line breeding, is a result of a line breeding, he will definitely lock in some amazing traits. And I'm not worried about size right now. I'm just worried about type, bringing back the type, selecting the best puppies, and then from there, if I need to add a little height, I will take them back to XLs.
Interesting. So in essence, your hybrid production of what you're creating, we can consider a bridge dog, right?
It could be, or it could be a final result. We never know. It's going to be exciting to see. And this is I think this is the enchantment. This is the magic of breeding. is when you have a vision and you have the tools, but you don't know the results. So in selecting the right puppies after that to continue your program. So
Yeah,
I'm very, very
because
excited for this one.
that sounds like uh, a science experiment that's just like how, like the Hulk, right? If you follow the Hulk as a cartoon, as Marvel, he was a scientist that got affected by gamma, and then he becomes this monster. That's kind of like
But
how
it
I
has
equate
been
what you're
done.
doing.
It has been
Really?
done before. Oh yeah, many times. People have been doing it here in the US, but
Okay.
this is how Klaus was produced. He is not a direct. He took them maybe 5 generations, 4 generations, because they bred Dax son, which is Cashpot. He came and he bred them to, I don't remember which one it was now. I won't remember names, but they started adding size later on, and they, in Brazil, the breed started with this large pit bulls breeding to pockets. So now I'm
Oh,
taking American bullies breeding to pockets, so we're gonna have for sure better dogs. And
very, very interesting. Very
as far
interesting.
as type, I want to bring more bulliness to the XLs. We see a lot of XLs losing the type and losing
Uh,
the traits. And the main trait of a bully is the substance. So if you
yeah.
see skinny necks, I think the neck is one of the most important physical trait of the bully, as far as substance, is in the neck. So you see
Okay.
these bullies with skinny necks, for me, it's already like a pit bull trait or Staffordshire trait. It's not a
Right.
bully trait, you know. And this is just an
Interesting.
example, as many other traits, but the neck tells you a lot um, about the standard, I would say, and type. Because the standard and type are two different things.
No, correct. That I do understand.
A dog
And
can be not structurally perfect according to the standard, but it can be breed type. You can look at a dog and say, "Oh my God, this is a perfect example of the breed," even though has some adjustments to be made structurally. And this is, I think, what Klaus is. He's not structurally perfect, and this is, for me, I love to work with dogs that are not perfect, and no dogs are perfect, but sometimes some show dogs are perfect, but they don't have much um, to offer as producers, and usually, like I said, two show dogs are not going to produce a super producer, but hyper types, dogs that have exaggerations and that sometimes have some flaws. In dogos, that's what I did. I used many dogs that many breeders would have called them in breeding.
right.
And those dogs,
Okay.
even though they were not structurally perfect, they produced structurally perfect dogs. You just have to understand a little bit of breeding and a little bit of matching here and there, and also understand, the blood that you're working with.
Hmm. What, man, you just went very deep with that one. Um, I, you know, I get it. And you just touched something that's, I don't know, like everyone looks for that perfect dog, the perfect pet, the perfect this, the perfect that. And I think you touching on that, it's wow. That's honestly mind blowing. That statement right there. And the fact that
I
you've
know.
proven it and you've done it, it's it's insane to me. And because here I have some dogs and I question it, like, did I pick the right dog? You know, and anytime I talk to you, you're like, no, you just got to give it time because the dog that you're picking every little thing wrong with it, you take it to the right dog, and all of a sudden you create magic, right?
It's what I always, this is exactly what we talked about. I told you, and I've told many people that I talk to that ask for my advice. And I said this in multiple interviews. You don't you don't disqualify a dog for its flaws. You select a dog for its overall qualities. That's my theory as a breeder.
Okay, so for myself and other young aspiring breeders, if you can give us a short tidbit of advice, what would it be?
I just did. I
Okay.
think that's the main one. Do not disqualify a dog by looking at small traits like, oh, but the feet are not perfect. Oh, but the tail is a little curved. Oh, the top line is a little high rear. Oh, it has a little poor angulation, or he's a little too much angulated. Look at the overall, look at that dog. What does he have to offer? Does It's a balance, it's a scale, like it's like a scale. Does the the good qualities overcome the flaws, So
Hmm.
you just have to see. Is
Very
that
nice.
what you're looking for? Is that what you want to have in your house? So are you going to be looking at small details like, oh no, but the feet is a little, oh, the top line, oh, the rear, or, these are things that people want to have great results with mediocre dogs. And when I say mediocre dogs, I say structurally correct dogs, but they don't have what it takes to be a producer. Because sometimes, and I'm not only talking about males, I'm talking about females. Everybody thinks that the most beautiful females are going to be the super producers. And I've seen this happening 1,000 times. And I've even talked to partners, to friends, to, people that sometimes told me, oh no, I'm not going to use that female because, oh, she has a small head or she's too small. And I said, she might give you the best productions in your yard. Try her out, Don't expect so much from a she-male. Focus on that bitch that is the second or the third or the fourth of the litter, because the dog, as a producer, it's not exactly what they are, but it's what exactly they can pass on. And that big example is Klaus' mama. Klaus' mama, Sombra, she's not a beautiful bitch. She's actually a very average bitch as far as type and as far as head. And how can a bitch like that produce dogs like she produced? Klaus, Hulk, there's one that I don't remember the name, another male, Hannah, Katana, this beautiful specimen coming from a mediocre bitch that everybody would have called or given away as a pet. And that guy had the vision to keep her and to breed her to a more breed type male, shorter, more compact, shorter muzzle to complement her. And look at all the beauties that he made. She made Klaus, And one
Yeah.
day,
Wow.
one day he actually was thinking about not breeding her again or something. I said, Alex, don't do that. She's your best bitch. She's your best producer, because I talked to him a lot and I guide him a lot about, we talked about, we've been for a year that we're friends and we're talking about what's going on in his program. And one day he said, do you think I should? I said, no, she's your best bitch. Look at what she's produced,
Eh, Wow, that just blew my mind right now. That information, I'm gonna have to digest it and like really decompress that. That's a lot. That is a lot. I think that's a bombshell to drop on anybody, new or experienced, because it's so easy to, make a decision and be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, you're like, hearing that is, gosh, there's that X factor to things, right? That you just don't know.
Exactly.
So, well, that just completely blew my mind. And
And you
I'm gonna
won't
have to
know until you
listen.
try them. You won't know until you try them. When do I think you should actually pet home a dog? First is temperament, because I think the temperament is super important, especially in the bully community. We sell a lot of dogs to families and to pet owners. Doggo is a little different. I mean, Doggo, you have to be even more careful because they are very high, spicy temperament dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really filter the people that you're selling them to, or you're homing them to. But usually people that come for Doggos, they already have some experience with dogs. Now with these bullies, temperament is everything, because they're big dogs and you want to make sure that you breed the right dogs, because they're going to end up in a lot of pet home families and kids and other dogs. So when do you have to get rid of a dog? When I say get rid of, is taking out of reproduction, is temperament, health problems, and structurally when they lack type, or
Okay.
if they lack type but they have a good background. That's Sambra's situation. She lacks type, but she has amazing structure and she has a great bloodline behind her. That's why she produced how she produced. So that's it. Or she has some, or if she or he have a like a structural problem that's very serious, like hip dysplasia or heart disease, something like that, something serious. So, or something structural, like a dog that is very cowhocked, or that has very bad easty-westy, then I would consider, because if it's not too bad, it's fixable.
Okay. Give me 3 major flaws for you on a dog.
Long muzzle. For me, muzzle
Okay.
is the first thing. Lack of type is the first one. For me,
Okay.
the overall dog has to have the breeding type. So that would be the major flaw, lack of type. Are we talking structure?
Just a general question.
Ah,
Give me
lack of
3 things
type.
where. Okay, lack of type.
Muzzle. I'm a muzzle person. I love in doggos that are a bite dog, and in bullies that is a beautiful dog, because the dog for me has to be beautiful. Cannot only be perfect, but it has to have, you have to look at a dog and say, oh my God, he's beautiful. So muzzle for me counts a lot in any breed.
Okay.
And in the bullies, I like the blockier muzzle.
Okay.
And I dislike the pointier, longer type of Roman type, but very long and thin muzzle, because that shit passes out a lot.
Really? That's a dominant trait then.
That is a dominant trait, yeah.
Oh wow.
And that
Okay.
comes a
Good to
lot,
know.
and that comes a lot with outcrosses. The outcrosses, it's very easy for you to, if you see stray dogs, you're rarely going to see stray dogs with a short muzzle. That's because they came from breedings that are, outcrossing, and all that Viger genes, and they end up getting longer muzzles. What else? In the bullies, I think the neck is something that I look at, especially the males, not as much as in the females, okay? The females is acceptable to have thinner necks, but the males, they have to have good necks.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Oh, so we know what you got coming up. And you know what? I'd like to make an announcement to our audience.
Let's do it.
Ah, well, we kind of dropped the egg earlier, but yeah, we're bringing in that girl for tuna this year to the U.S. And go ahead and tell them who are we taking her to?
we're doing Fortuna and Klaus. That's
Ooh,
gonna be
Brazil versus Brazil.
crazy. Brazil with Brazil, and that's a perfect girl for Klaus from Brazil. I think that's gonna be, ooh,
That's going to be something special.
breathtaking. Yeah, you will, for sure.
I like her feet. Oh man, she's just a beautiful girl. And with Klaus, it's like if okay, so for me, right, I'm gonna look at it from a buyer's perspective.
Hmm.
If I look at her and I look at Klaus, either way, whichever way the dogs look like, it's a no loss. If the dog looks
Exactly.
like Klaus, it's a winner. If the dog looks like Fortuna, it's a winner because both of them are something different, right?
Yeah, and I can't imagine what we can have as far as like, I don't even know how they're gonna look like, to be honest with you. I don't have the perspective because I've never seen him breeding to a girl like that. So I can
Well,
imagine, I can imagine because I've seen him breeding to many, many different type of girls, all type of
okay.
girls that you can imagine. And in every litter, he throws a little bit of himself in the puppies, in some of the puppies. He throws a lot of himself, actually.
Well,
Um,
actually, yeah, your in-house breeding, he threw himself 6 times over 10. So,
yeah, and he's done that like at least 30-40% of himself in every litter that he's throw out there. Of course, mom
very
matters,
nice.
the
Of
mother
course.
matters a lot, but his traits are always present very consistently.
Are you an embark person?
I embark all my dogs, not that I'm an embark person. I do, for some dogs, I don't do embark. I do UC Davis, especially for
Okay.
collars.
Okay.
And but embark is good because it does a general overlook in every trait and the diseases and all of that. I like it, but I don't know how much I use it as far as like I'm not a crazy, oh no, I'm an embark crazy person, I will follow that all the way. No, that's just a parameter. It's just a reference, but it shouldn't be a
Okay.
Bible.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Um, a dog with a 20% COI, you mate to a dog with a 10% COI. Do you believe the dog with a 20% COI will dominate that litter?
No,
Okay.
I don't honestly, like I said, I think genetics is such a complex science. I don't think there are rules to it. There are some rules as far as, for example, colors but as far as DNA transmissibility, genes
Okay.
transmissibility, it depends on each individual because that dog might be 37% inbred and he might only pass his pheno might be one thing and he might be passing something else that is not dominant, even though he's a highly inbred dog. So it's hard to tell. But I'm not a geneticist. I'm far from understanding genetics to the point to answer you technically. But in my experience, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not saying no. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't answer correctly. I'm saying that I don't know. Like I'm not
That's a
sure.
fair answer.
Okay.
That's a fair answer. So,
You should
okay.
you should
Well,
ask the same and in your next interview, whenever you interview somebody that is good at genetics, I'm sure that you're gonna answer him, and I want to know the answer. You're gonna ask them, and I really want to know the answer to that question.
well, technically, okay. So, from my understanding of genetics and breeding, not in dogs, in other animals, is that typically the value is heavier on the girl
Typically, yes.
because the girl carries double X. The male determines the sex, so that she only passes one X. on the mitochondrial DNA, and therefore a line bred or double line bred female always has more value than a line bred male. And this is true for fighting roosters. And the thing is that
Yeah,
have experience in.
yeah. You can tell that by your experience, absolutely.
And so, and then when you outcross that female that's line bred or double line bred to an outcross, then you create a hyper type, like you were saying, something different. Something's like, wow, what is that? Right? It's
But you look, for example, at Klaus. Klaus is a complete outcross that's very scatterbred in the first generations, up to 5 generations. And his line bred back then, 6th and 7th generations behind, which is too far to actually bring too much to the table. And look how much he's throwing himself on girls that are line bred. So how do you explain that 40% of the litter looks a lot like him, like have all his traits in every litter with different girls, and he wasn't supposed to be doing that if you think about genetically.
No, that's a good point. And that's exactly why I like talking to people, because how does that work, right? Because in theory, it shouldn't.
Because his traits are very dominant.
Okay.
And he has a high transmissibility of the strong genes that he's got going there. That's what I would say. He passes that a lot.
Interesting. And it's a good thing I love him, because we got 2 puppies for him. Aurea, I don't mean to consume so much of your time, and thank you for being so gracious to share your time with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? How to get in touch with you, how to tap in with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you if somebody has interest or, wants to just connect with you genuinely?
Absolutely. Well, my Instagram is open to everybody to direct me message there. Direct message me. I also have the website, sambakennels.com. That's where we're going to be announcing future breedings and litters and puppies. I do not like talking or texting sales in Instagram. So if you write me there, I'm going to probably, if they want to ask prices, I'm directing them to either my text message or my WhatsApp or email. But Facebook, I'm also on Facebook, Samba Kennels. And I want to thank you so much for having the opportunity to talk to you. It's been a great talk, a great chat. We can actually make a podcast out of this.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
My
gosh.
I really appreciate you, Earl, and I can't wait to see the progress that you're gonna make in your breeding career. I hope that everybody that is watching, please give him a follow, give him a subscribe, turn on the little bells, because there's gonna be one after the other, better and better interviews. But also follow him on Instagram, Sumo Kennels, Sumo Bully Kennels, right?
Yes,
or bully.
Sumo Bully Kennels.
Sumo
Bully Kennels. And, I started this whole series as a fan, to be honest. And to be able to reach out to people that I like their dogs, I like, the person behind their dog is as important as the dog that you admire. It's the reality.
Exactly.
I reached out to people. I reached out to people who are like, yeah, okay, I love that dog. It's like, man. And then I reached out to people who are just very genuinely inviting. And so I appreciate everyone, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. That's part of the game we play, And so I have harbored no hard feelings against nobody. I appreciate everybody, man. Amazing, amazing. And for you to have us, to host us, to, for a newbie like us to be able to have your time in your ear and your experience, and to be able to touch Klaus and see him in person and be even more wild than the videos and pictures. It's a lifetime experience. It really is. And so I want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure. It was a great connection. I think we're gonna, have many opportunities to do great things together. And your career in the breeding life is starting, but you have a lot of things to offer to the community, as far as starting as being a great person that you are, a great family
Thank
guy
you.
that you are, a great friend, and showing to be a great show host. I think you're gonna have a lot of knowledge, and what you're doing for the community is more valuable than many breedings that I'm sure you're gonna have great breedings, but what you're doing is a lot. It's very, very appreciated and valuable. I appreciate you very much, Errol. You and
Thank you.
Audrey, please send my love to your wife. She's a
Oh, of
sweetheart.
course. She's the one that found you. My gosh, she's like, oh my God, we gotta go. Anyhow, thank you so much, Aurea, for sure. Oh my gosh. We gotta do this again. And as our girls grow, we're gonna tap in again and do another episode, because I can't get enough of you. I cannot.
Thank you so
You are the best.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
Appreciate you. De nada.
Okay, guys,
Bye-bye.
signing off. This is Earl with Samba Kennels, and this is Aurea with Samba Kennels, the queen of Brazil.